Hi, I'm Irving, and I'm an Adamaniac. We open on a box shop. That's a store that sells nothing but empty boxes, in case you weren't sure. It's as I've often said, if you have something you want to get rid of, put it up for sale. Somebody will buy anything, even empty boxes.
We're looking for some empty hat boxes, a lot of empty hat boxes.
Well, you've really come to the right place.
Good. 700 of these would be fine.
Do you want them delivered?
We'll take them with us.
700 hat boxes?
There are 3 of us.
That's only 233.333333333333333333333333 hat boxes each. Easy.
Cash or charge?
That is of no concern to me, madam, as I don't intend to pay for them in either case.
He didn't do that in the first place because how else are they going to tell us that he's stealing 700 hat boxes? Exposition first, then mesmerizing. I can't help wondering what he wants to do with 700 hat boxes. At Wayne Manor, Bruce is giving a check to a German atomic scientist. It's only 22 years since the end of World War II. I'll just leave that mess right where they dropped it.
The bat phone, sir.
Louder, Alfred. The scientist heard you, but Aunt Harriet didn't.
I may need your help, Dick.
Sure, Bruce.
Now, if you'll excuse me, Professor, I have some other matters connected with the Foundation.
Oh, but of course, Mr. Wayne, it will give me a moment with this charming lady to thank her for the delightful luncheon. You know, Mrs. Cooper, I really mean it. You have a certain way with the strudel.
Somebody must have realized that giving a Wayne Foundation check to a German atomic scientist, probably a defector, wouldn't go over too well with the public, so they threw in some stuff to make him a caricature just to cover their butts.
There's little doubt about the culprit's identity, Batman. Warden Crichton tells me the convicts were enjoying a softball game last week, and the Mad Hatter stole home and kept right on going in Warden Crichton's cap. The warden was acting as umpire.
What? Give me that again.
The Mad Hatter stole home and kept right on going in Warden Crichton's cap.
Where were they having this softball game? I would assume it was somewhere on the prison grounds, so how could he just run out of the place because he had the warden's hat on? Or if they were outside the prison walls, was a hat really enough to fool the guards into thinking he was the warden? They just assume Warden Crichton suddenly grew a huge red mustache because he's wearing the right hat. Everyone in Gotham... Crap.
Atomic batteries to power. Turbines to speed.
Roger. Ready to move out.
Reusable footage in place. Let's go.
But he hasn't stolen any hats.
One hat, Robin. Or rather, a cap belonging to Warden Crichton along with home plate at the penitentiary.
Which they found between the prison's baseball diamond and the tennis courts.
This was on prison grounds. But it's worse than that. He actually stole home plate. I got nothing. Gordon reminds Batman that one of the Hatter's primary goals in life is to add Batman's cowl to his collection. So far, nobody's asking what he wants to do with 700 hat boxes.
Where will we begin, Batman? The prison ballpark or the box shops?
That's all after the fact, Robin. We must anticipate his next move. And I believe the Batcave is the place for that. Excuse us, please.
Because he's obviously going to rob the Batcave next. Oh, he means go use their resources to figure out what Tetch is going to do. You could start by asking what he wants to do with 700 hat boxes.
It's like losing old friends, Polly. Putting these hats away.
He's putting hats in them, naturally. He's packing up his collection. The next question is why?
Take this shako, for instance. Oh, how startled the guardsman was when I lifted it during a time when he was trooping the royal colors.
Wasn't that risky, Jervis?
A bit touch and go, especially when the king ordered my execution.
He sort of implied that he snatched that from a British beefeater, but England had a queen, so it must have been some other country. And that's not really a shako. As a rule, they're not fuzzy.
But I escaped with this noose. Hardly a hat, but in its way, a kind of headwear.
More of a necktie, but I'll let that slide. The requisite mindless girl asks why he's packing them up. He says collecting hats has lost its fascination. Now he's going to use hats to steal. The only exception is Batman's cowl. He'll never rest until he has that. But for now, he has a plan.
Well, it's a plan which is better understood as it unfolds, Polly, involving as it does a headdress ball tonight at which you will be in charge of the hat check stand.
That's way too many words for her to process. You need to shorten your sentences.
Plus the three-tailed pasha, Panchagorum.
Is that an exotic bird of some kind?
Plus this plastic gun filled with radioactive spray. Plus the golden Buddha Bergama and the priceless ruby in its forehead.
We call this the Plus Plan. You can upgrade to it today for only $19.99.
And finally, plus that elevated water tank at the rear of this property, down the ladder of which Benny and Skimmer are now climbing.
What on earth are they doing in the water tank?
Preparing a watery grave, elevated, of course, for the Caped Crusader.
I'm pretty sure Polly understood plan. That's about it. I'm sure when Batman catches up to them, he'll call her a poor, deluded creature. It's weird how in Batman's world, all women are innocent little blank slates waiting for someone either good or evil to program them. Whatever the case, they're basically not responsible for their behavior. Then you have Catwoman, Marcia. Every so often we have a strong, capable woman who just happens to be on the wrong side of the law. Batman never comments on them or calls them deluded damsels and all the rest. He understands that they know exactly what they're doing and they've chosen this life with their eyes wide open. But any henchwoman, or gun moll as they used to call it, isn't there by choice. She's been led astray by the big bad man. I still can't put that together. In the Batcave, the Batcomputer is spitting out cards. What, no spaghetti? But Robin's hungry.
Sombrero. Sunbonnet. Pith helmet. Tam o'shanter. Skullcap. Snood.
They're getting nowhere. Batman says the computer is feeling the strain of crime fighting and needs a stiff drink, or something along those lines.
Perhaps if I activated the accelerated concentration switch.
Holy handiwork, Batman. A new attack entirely.
It was that knock on the head that did it. This information points them to the annual headdress ball headed up by Hattie Hatfield, who just happens to have a headgear that's held in place by a giant ruby.
Three-tailed pasha of Panchagorum?
Yes, he's in Gotham City incognito.
Incognito.
And he's asked me as first secretary of the Panchagorum consulate to tell you that he'd love to drop in on the headdress ball for a few moments incognito.
Incognito!
Of course.
While Batman and Robin bat climb up the bat wall, the three-tailed tree toad of Gitchy Goonie makes his entrance.
Care to check your three-tailed hat, sir?
I never leave my hat with anyone. My three horse-tailed tassels are a symbol of my high rank as a Panchagorum military commander.
They're made from the tails of his enemies. He only fights horses.
Then perhaps your gloves.
Nor my gloves either. In this one I have my reliable ruby retriever. But what a unique custom. Leaving articles of one's clothing with a pretty young lady at the door. I must initiate that in my Panchagorum harems.
A hat check girl is something different. You're thinking of a... Never mind.
I'm Hattie Hatfield, your three-tailed excellency.
Then word has gotten out. I really wanted this little visit to be incognito.
Incognito! They're not getting it because you're not saying it right.
Who's that?
Mad Hatter, Robin, who else?
Why 3 horsetails on this fez?
Obviously a ruse of some kind. Let's slip in and find a better vantage point. I'm sure we'll be unnoticed.
For once, he may be right because most of the people are wearing crazy stuff on their heads. A simple Batman cowl probably won't attract that much attention. Batman and Robin watch while the Hatter steals the ruby from Hattie's headdress, confront him, and the fight is on. Lucky for the Hatter, he replaced all the waiters with his henchmen. But for a change, Batman and Robin win.
You, Mad Hatter.
Not until I toss my hat into the ring, Batman.
Good thing they didn't rush up and grab him before he did that. They might never have found out what that hat does.
Holy fireworks! Look out, Batman! Knock out gas!
No, boy wonder, something much more effective. Radioactive spray. Try this on your cowl for size.
Good thing they didn't rush up and grab him before he did that. They might never have found out what that stuff is. Hatter and the gang make their escape, including Polly. Batman has other things to think about.
Your cowl, Batman, is turned bright pink.
Now it matches the seatbelts in the Batmobile.
A form of virulent radiation, Robin. Quickly, back to the Batcave before it is too late.
I would hope he has extras. Just go get one.
Sir, all your other cowls are in the home dry bat cleaning plant. It's turned up to full maximum, but even so, I'm afraid they won't be ready for another couple of hours at least.
Batman can't go out and fight crime because his cowl is in the laundry. If you ever get the chance to say that sentence, punch yourself in the face instead. It's less painful.
Alfred, turn the home dry bat cleaning plant from full maximum to super instant.
If it has a setting like that, and Batman desperately needs a cowl, why didn't Alfred put it on that setting in the first place?
Well, millionaire Bruce Wayne makes a telephone call.
Very good, sir.
Bruce Wayne?
Yeah, you know, that weird guy who lives upstairs. Thinks he's me.
Yes, to Professor Overbeck of the Gotham City Atomic Energy Laboratories. This morning, Mr. Wayne presented Professor Overbeck with a sizable check for his fine work. Perhaps the good professor would like to return the favor by doing something for Mr. Wayne's friend, Batman.
What a remarkable coincidence. Nobody in the Batcave is moving because they just can't take him seriously in that pink hat. Why doesn't he take it off? Is he required to wear a cowl in the Batcave? At the lab, the good professor is happy to decontaminate Batman's cowl. He calls for his assistant Otto to put on a protective suit and bring another one for Batman. Unfortunately, Otto is mesmerized on the floor and it's really the Hatter inside the suit. Batman hands over the pink cowl just as Robin sees through Otto's disguise.
And have it decontaminated.
Just a minute, Otto.
Unhand me, boy, bird brain. Oh! Now I have what I've always wanted.
That wasn't Otto.
He had to get a PhD to figure that out. So the Hatter made off with Batman's pink cowl, and we've discovered that Robin's ultimate weakness is a kick in the shin. But they planned this and waited until the laundry was done so they could bring an extra cowl. Batman puts it on and they confront the Hatter.
I'll take that cowl.
Look out, Robin, that cowl's contaminated.
Sick him! Sick him! Sick him!
Really? After that huge fight where Batman and Robin pulverized these guys, the key to beating them is to grab them by the elbows? Don't let the Joker hear that. Now they're trapped in a fluoroscopic machine where they're going to be bombarded with x-rays until they're medium well with a side of baked potato. Though the Hatter will probably pronounce it potato.
First, Batman's cowl radioactivated, and now the Caped Crusaders fluoroscoped forever. Keep framed to their framework. Tomorrow, same bat time, same bat channel.
During the time that this came out, my doctor had a fluoroscope machine. He used it to check my internal organs when he needed to, and he would always let me put my hand behind it so I could see what it did. Looking at the bones and stuff in my hand was always fascinating. What it wasn't was something that could cook me to a crisp. It wasn't designed that way, and I doubt this one is either. But in 1967, the word radiation carried a mystique like no other. Radiation created pretty much all the Marvel superheroes, including the Fantastic Four and Spider-Man, to say nothing of all 5 original X-Men and Professor X himself. Nobody understood radiation, they just knew it was this mysterious force that could create, kill, alter DNA, modify the Earth's orbit, open doorways to other dimensions, you name it, radiation could do it. Now in this case, they're basically trapped in a big microwave oven. I understand that. What I don't understand is why they're standing still instead of trying to get out. Hopefully we'll find out next time. I'm Irving and I'm an Adamaniac.